What's up, everybody? It is Casey with Two Worlds Podcast, and with me, as always, it's the Paulie to my Rocky Balboa. It's Jake. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I was gonna do a Rocky line, but I'm not Rocky. So what does Polly say?
I mean, he's the drunken buffoon that will be like, Rocky, and then Rocky's
Well,
like,
I
okay,
mean, it kind of
uh,
fits.
there we go. And, Rocky's like, I could do it, Paulie, and Paulie's like, you can't. It's just that all the time.
That's not us because I always believe in you.
Thanks, man.
Anyway,
We've got a lot of stuff this week.
yeah, we don't need to be going down any tangents, so let's get right in it.
We're going to, but we don't need
I
to.
know. I may have one or two more, so I'll start
Yeah,
us off.
you do.
So Marvel is going to be doing a Moon Knight anthology series. I'm actually pretty excited for this, just because I've been all in on Moon Knight lately, except for the trailer. Trailer was kind of a letdown. I guess we can talk about that here in a second.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jonathan Hickman and Chris Bocciolo are for sure going to be a part of this, as well as others, but those two are for sure. So, Casey, does Hickman writing Moon Knight interest you at all?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I like Hickman, but there are times where he just takes like a detour and it goes straight up his own butt. And it's like, I mean, I'm assuming it's great if you've read every single comic he's ever written, because then he wants it all to connect that way. And that just gets old. So, I mean, it might be really, really good. So I'm hoping it will be.
Yeah.
And my one concern for you as the Moon Knight fan that likes a little bit more grounded, I have a feeling he's going to get weird.
Yeah. I just want one of these creative teams to just give us a superhero story and not focus on the crazy. But I
Who?
just don't think it's going to happen.
So is this gonna be kind of like how DC does the books, where it's like 15 stories in one, or like, is it just how, what is this gonna be like?
I think it's going to be like a black, white, and red.
Oh, okay, cool. So give me like three creators that you'd want to see on it, whether it be artists or writers.
Oh, Chuck Dixon, because he
I
wrote the best
Yeah.
Moon Knight, but that's not going to happen. Um, this one probably won't happen either, but Warren Ellis wrote a pretty good Moon Knight. I wouldn't mind him coming back.
Yeah.
Um, and you know what? Donny Cates. Let's see what he can do with Moon Knight.
Right on.
But
Okay,
anyway,
yeah.
real quick,
Yeah, I
the
was about to.
trailer. Did you like it?
I thought it looked fine. I'm not a Moon Knight fan. It really kind of gave me vibes of Lemire's run, which I actually did enjoy, and you didn't. So, you know,
Yeah.
and you were let down.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I'm gonna say something and you're gonna want to be like, but I'm gonna butt myself, okay?
Okay.
Moon Knight, like Mark Spector, was like a military what's the word I'm looking for, where you get paid to do
Mercenary.
something, a mercenary, thank you. He gets left for dead outside of Khonshu's like temple or pyramid, whatever. And then, gives himself to Khonshu, gets resurrected as the fist of Khonshu. This trailer, we get for some reason a British accent and just some guy who like gets made fun of or something like that. And then one scene of him in costume. So probably what we saw in the trailer was one personality, and we'll probably get another personality that went through all that stuff that I said for his origin. But if you want to like kick someone's teeth out with a trailer, you go with the mercenary stuff, not the British nerdy stuff. It just
Just
didn't grab me. It just didn't
one
grab me.
one thing though, and this is just like, with, as far as trailers go, it's like you want the big reveal of the Moon Knight thing, but you don't want the other reveal. You kind of want people to go into this going, oh yeah, he's some, people that don't know the character, yeah, he's just some kind of nerdy museum guy. Like, oh, this will be interesting. And then it starts off with him being like left for dead in Egypt or whatever, and then people like, this isn't what I signed up for at all. Aghast, like that type of
Right.
thing.
Now, don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed every Disney Plus series they put out. So I'm probably going to like this one too. But again, you're right, because they're not making this show for me. They're making it for average Joes. They're going to be like, oh, gasp, this isn't what I signed up for. So I'm going to stick it out. It's just trailer I didn't think was great.
Yeah. How would you feel if it does start off with him being the museum guy, but then it's like slowly revealed, which is like what they seem to like to do throughout, multiple episodes, that he started off as the mercenary Mark and all this other stuff. Like 3 episodes in, it's kind of going more and more back, since that's kind of what they do anymore with storytelling.
Yeah. I think that's probably fine. I don't want it to be where the split personality is the focus.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do. I'm probably not going to get what I want, but we'll see.
No, probably not. So give it a rating out of 10, just really quick, and we'll leave it at, the trailer.
The trailer, 6.
Okay. So I figured you'd be lower, because I was bad at probably a 7. Like, I mean, I thought it looked fine, but
if you're at a 7, then I'll change my answer to 5.
All right, because I mean, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, this is pretty neat. Like, the Moon Knight costume looks cool, but
it does.
It's, I mean, but I'm also not a Moon Knight fanboy, so like, none of that was like, oh, I'm so hyped for this, museum stuff. Like, that's not doing it for me. So
yeah.
All right, so we got some set photos from, and like even a little bit of video from Batgirl. It's mostly just Brandon Fraser walking. So if you've never seen that before, you're in for a treat. He's in street clothes too, so you don't see anything really. But people are freaking out about it, and like, if that's one thing. Like, I also saw a thing where people are saying, "Oh, you get Michael Keaton as Batman pictures." I didn't see them. I looked for it, but when I clicked that link and then like tried to look for it other spots, everything was coming up like not found. So I don't know if it was just like, to lure me in, or if it was just, them making stuff up.
Right. Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. It's him walking. I hope the show's good. Because movie. I want it to be good anyway, but I especially want it to be good because I want him to succeed. And I know that he's just the bad guy, but still.
Yeah, like, I'm not rooting for his character, but like, as an actor, I want him to be just like, I want him to be Defoe levels, just great as far as the villain. So people go like, holy crap, Firefly is the best DC villain, which it's not like that hard to do right now. Yeah. But
No, I feel you. Okay, well, keeping on with Moon Knight, this is a bit of sad news. Moon Knight star Gaspard Ulliel tragically died in a skiing accident this week. He was 37 years old. Unfortunate.
I saw that. Who did he play? Is there any?
Oh, it was it's like Midnight Man or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyway. And then we got now, and I say this with a lot of well, I'll say excitement. We got a teaser of a teaser for the Prime Lord of the Rings show. And mostly what it did was give us a release date, which is September 2nd of this year. But the cool thing is that, did you happen to catch it at all?
I didn't watch it, but I was like, yeah, we're going to talk about this for sure.
Okay. So if you watch it, you think, wow, pretty neat effects. They weren't. It was practical. And I thought that was awesome. They actually had like a carved or laser cut thing where it said the name of the show, and then they actually poured like molten metal or whatever into it for those effects. And wow. I thought that was awesome.
That is incredible.
Anyway, very excited. Glad we got a release date.
How excited are you for this show?
Man, it's hard. I mean, Lord of the Rings is my thing, so it's hard not to just be to the moon with excitement. I need it to be good. I've heard a couple things that make me think they don't understand the source material, but we'll see.
I gotcha. Okay, so I have a couple little bit of like two Batman things. One's just silly, and the other one's kind of like whatever. But the Batman's length has been officially released. It's coming in at 258. So just under 3 hours. It's gonna be one of the longest running or longest superhero movies. I mean, yeah, it should be like, I mean, I'm less interested still seeing it because I don't want to sit there for 30 minutes or 3 hours of seeing Robert Pattinson stare at the camera like this and showing no personality, because that's their cool way of doing Bruce Wayne. But it's still, I mean, I think Paul Dano's Riddler is going to be really cool. And it also makes me go, I can watch as many trailers as I want because there's no way I'm going to get all 3 hours of the movie into those trailers.
Yeah. I'm still excited for it. I want it to be good. Like, it could drag, or it could be like the Snyder cut where at the end of 4 hours I was like, oh, that's it.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's going to drag some because it kind of should, because it's a detective style movie. Those
Mhm.
things just drag. That's kind of part of it, because there's the parts where they're trying to find stuff out and all this other stuff. But we'll see how it goes. And then the other, like, the ridiculous thing, starting today, Little Caesars is doing a Batman tie-in calzone. It's shaped like a bat, sort of like a bat that's like the person that was making it was like, I really don't know what a bat looks like.
Like, no, I've totally seen a bat
Yeah.
before.
And like, if you can Google it, it looks amazing. I want to eat it so badly. You gonna eat that for like the day of the movie comes out?
No.
You should get some bat calzones for the shop.
Nah, that's all right.
Be
You know,
like,
one of my favorite memes, I'm sure you've seen it. It's like, Little Caesars, it's hot and ready. And someone says, well, is it good? Like, it's hot and it's ready.
see, like, Bree always gives me crap about it because she's like, oh, it's so gross. I absolutely love Little Caesars, and I have a dog just pushing my door open. So give me 1 sec. You can talk about whatever.
Sure. I don't know. I don't think it's that great, honestly. Like, if we're ranking pizza places, Little Caesars is not high up there. I know that there's a big convenience factor when it comes to Little Caesars, but outside of the convenience factor, it is not my favorite place.
I mean, I get that, but I don't know. I like, as far like, a lot of it's childhood, because I don't remember if you remember Kmart and how they had the Little Caesars in there.
Sure.
That was the bomb, and the crazy bread, so dang good. And so, like, I've always loved it since then. And like, when I was like extra fat Casey, they had the bacon wrap pizza, which was their deep dish pizza wrapped in bacon and pepperoni on top. I smashed that thing and just like, I was like, I may die tonight. Like, I felt my heart tighten, and it was terrible.
So will you be getting a calzone?
I'm on the fence about it, because like, I bought a bunch of groceries from Aldi. I'm like, like, I have like a pretty strict diet going right now. X amount of calories. I'm like, if I eat the calzone all by itself, that's like my calories for like a day and a half.
Oh, that's funny. All right. So Casey, apparently this has been talked about for a while. I just heard about it today, but did you know there's a King of the Hill revival in the works?
Like, it's so. I mean, there's been some like new stuff that kind of came out here recently about it. Like, Mike Judge is like, I would love to do it. He doesn't own the rights, and and so, like, sorry, but something's caught in my throat. I guess talking about King of the Hill makes me very sad.
Well, I'll talk about what I saw. So they've got like somebody else attached to it. So Greg Daniels and Mike Judge, they're like the creators. And then they're teaming up to form a new animation company called Bandera Entertainment, along with former YouTube head of originals Dustin Davis. And I guess that guy's also working on Netflix's Space Force.
Yeah, Mike Judge and Greg Daniels both are.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, um, and they said basically it's still not 100%, but they're a little bit closer than where they were a while back.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
and like the whole premise too is they're gonna age them all up if it
Mm-hmm.
does happen. And like the downside is we're gonna lose Luann and Lucky, which losing Lucky isn't that big of a deal, but losing Luann is because she had some of the better lines.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I absolutely love that show. I think it's hilarious, especially now that we're a little bit older. But anyway, if it happens, I just want it to be funny.
Yeah, there really quick. There was one joke from King of the Hill because I was rewatching it and I was watching it one day and the girlfriend was asleep and where she was living at the time, she had a loft, like it was a loft apartment. So I was downstairs, she was upstairs in the lot, in her bed, half asleep. And I was watching King of the Hill and like Lucky had to get something done. Like he wanted to get a job or something. And Hank's like, well, you need your social security card. He's like, I don't got one of them social cards. And so then and Bree heard that and started laughing. And then like so now it's like at any time King of the Hills reference, she just goes, I don't got one of them social cards.
You should get her to just binge the whole show with you.
Oh, she could not do that. I don't think I could binge at all. Like it's over several weeks and months time for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so we talked recently, like weeks or months, maybe a couple months now, about Black Adam spinoff, and some more rumors came out about this. It's going to be Hawkman. If it happens, it'll be Hawkman and Hawkgirl. It's going to, it's supposedly in development at WB, but like being in development could just be like them saying, let's do this. But there's nothing actually, no wheels are moving. The movie's supposed to explore their origins and have different incarnations of them across time. As the Hawkman fan, you hyped or not hyped, or you just kind of
I'll be more hyped if it actually happens. I think
yeah.
that character deserves a little spotlight because he's been through it over the years in more ways than one. So it would be cool. That would also mean that we get a comic series again. So we'll see. I think of all the characters that are gonna pop up in that or supposed to, Hawkman is the most likely to get a spinoff.
There's one other one that I think is more likely that also has a bigger actor. And that's another one of your favorite. It's Dr. Fate.
I mean, I could see like a Justice Society thing, but I don't see them doing a solo Fate.
I see them doing that, and I could see it going one of two ways. It could be him with Khalid and just having that like old and young type thing going on, or just a Dr. Fate movie, kind of like Doctor Strange, But yeah, like my one problem with believing this is like how you mentioned, oh, we could get another Hawkman series. They try a Hawkman series all the time, and then now Warner Brothers is like, that knows that DC has trouble selling Hawkman's like, let's do a movie. Like
right.
That's my one thing where I'm like, I don't know about this, but I know it'd be better than like what Twister. That's another one of the characters they're using.
Now, to be fair,
This
last Hawkman series that we got went on for a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
True.
And people seem to still really be digging it by the end. So
yeah.
I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I think it must be marketability with him, which is weird because as a kid, I gravitated to him big time, mostly because he had a weird bird face. But, like, I mean, I just think they don't know how to market him. Like, I really think that has to be it because he's been around for forever. People like he should be more recognized than what he is, but it's just like, they're just like, no, he's not. We don't know what to do.
It's because they took his continuity over the years and just destroyed it. Mm-hmm. And that is a real shame. Shouldn't be that difficult, really.
No. But I mean, that's one of the pluses from what I've heard from you say and Vendetti say himself with what he did with his run. So
Yeah.
just wait for the
And
next guy to come in and ruin it.
well, here's the thing. So say they do this movie, they could do two movies, which they would want to do anyways, right? First movie, do Carter Hall, and then the second movie, go total 180, do Katar, and do a sci-fi Hawk World thing. Like one of them will stick with whoever's going to see those movies, right? Like if you didn't like one, you could like the other because it's pretty different.
I'll say this, I don't see that working at all. People would be like, this is a different one? I don't understand. I'm not seeing this. This doesn't make any sense. Warner Brothers doing the stuff they always do. Like it's like as a comic, like if their audience was just, Hawkman fans, I think what you're saying would work 100%.
Yeah.
And hey, in the comments, let us know if you side with me or Jake. Because if you guys are like, no, I would 100% see the Katar and the Carter, because I think it would both be really interesting. And they're like, no, Casey's much more executive minded than Jake.
Well, he is. The thing is DC has spent half the time doing one and half the time doing the other. So at this point, like people like aspects of both. So and if they're gonna do different, you even said in your note that they would like to focus on different periods of time.
Yeah,
well,
so I mean,
they can do that with the different Hawkmen.
Yeah, they could do that with one movie, but then just trying to do one movie over here with Carter, one over here with Katar. It needs to be more kind of like, I think, Justice League United, where it was like it showed, they would go back in their past and it was like Carter, crazy old Carter was actually Katar, that type of thing.
Right.
Like I think that would work.
Or what if they just did like a show on HBO Max? I think what I'm spinning here would work better as a show.
Yeah, do season by season, where like each season it's a different version. I think that would be cool. It's like have to be like 6 episodes probably though.
Yeah, I wouldn't do more than that. See, we worked it out. We came together for
that. We figured something out. We need Discovery to contact us, not Warner Brothers.
Yes, exactly. All right. Moving along. So Defenders is getting I'm just gonna say a new comic series. It said Defenders will return in summer of 2022. But let's be real, they're just gonna slap a new #1 on it. No idea who the creative team is. We just know that it's going to be coming back. So I don't know if it's going to be Al Ewing and Rodriguez, I think maybe on the art, but I don't know.
I hope
Any
not.
interest to you?
No, I mean, like might be, it just depends on the team. Like the thing with the Defenders, it really does with that team. It's like who's on it and then also who's gonna be writing it. Like if you go, it's all of your favorites, but Al Ewing's writing it, I'll be like, oh, it's Guardians of the Galaxy all over again. I'm good. But but if you're like, oh, it's these characters you've never heard of, but it's being written by, Brian K. Vaughan, I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna read it.
I think they should go with the original Defenders team. Bring them back.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean, I loved Fraction's run. That was so weird and out there, that had like Surfer, Strange, like Surfer after a while, Prince of Orphans was there for a bit, like all of these different, like Black Cat, like all crazy stuff. It was fun.
Good art too.
Yeah. Okay, my last bit of news. I don't know if you saw this, but it's kind of like exciting, but kind of like really just frustrating because I don't have Apple TV, but I'm going to get it now. But Apple TV is going to be making a MonsterVerse show. Legendary was like, well, we need to make a TV show. And Apple TV is like, we'll do it because they're trying to get more content, basically. And it's going to, like, from the way it sounds like it's going to take place between Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla King of the Monsters. And like not a lot is known. It's like it's going to follow a family and how like, oh, well, it turns out we actually have ties to Monarch, that type of thing, like surprise type, whatever.
Right.
Chris Black of Star Trek Enterprise is the co-creator and executive producer and showrunner, and Matt Fraction is another executive producer. I'm assuming he's going to have writing duties on it too then, because it's like, no offense to that fraction, but like, who's going to get him just to be an executive producer when you have that mind to write also, you know? So,
Yeah.
so like that, I'm pretty excited about it. Like the last couple of Godzilla related TV shows I've seen, I wasn't super hot on. So I'm hoping this one's better. Like I didn't like Singular Point, and I did not like the other three animes that came out. So I'm hoping, even though this is not an anime, hoping I'm digging this.
I hope you do too. I I would not have expected Matt Fraction, but
Yeah,
that does
it.
make it more enticing.
I mean, like I should have known that he was, because I knew he kind of knew he was a Godzilla fan, but it's still not. He's not one I would have put in as far as like being an executive producer on a TV show. But I remember when he was still active on Twitter, he was the reason why I came up with when me and Brianna were living together, our Godzilla party, and
Yeah.
because he had a Godzilla party for his kids, or his kid, like they built all these, cardboard skyscrapers and they just all destroyed them and stuff. And like the picture was like him, like an army uniform, smoking a cigar over the destruction.
That's great. All right. I will cap off the news with some comic stuff. So I'll dish them out, and then you just tell me if you think it's neat and if you'll read it or not.
All right, sounds good.
So we've got a Spider-Punk 5-issue mini coming in April. That will be by Cody Ziegler and Justin Mason, with Olivier Coipel doing the covers.
No, Ziegler's stuff has been like kind of the weakest stuff in this Amazing Spider-Man, and then it's also just Spider-Punk. From the little bit I read of the Spider, verse stuff when Dan Slott was writing, I was still getting it. That I didn't care. So I mean, I'm not going to care about this. So
yeah.
What about you?
No, I mean, I don't know who the character is, and if I'm going to read a Spider-Man book, it's not going to be that one.
It'll be Silk.
It will be Silk. It has been Silk. And hopefully a new Spider-Gwen series eventually.
Yeah.
All right. And then next we've got Captain America 0 in April, which will then spin off into 2 series. That'll be Captain America, the Sentinel of Liberty, which will have Steve. That'll be by Colin Kelly, Jackson Lanzig, and Carmen Carnero. And then the other one is Captain America's Symbol of Truth with Sam, and that'll be by Toki Onyebuchi and RB Silva.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Sam went back to Falcon, correct? And then he went back to Cap, like probably when that.
Yeah.
Okay, did he just go back to Cap like recently with that whole like Road to America or whatever, where it was like all the Captain Americas together?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm not really interested in either. I haven't really read a Captain America story that's really gripped me, since Ed Brubaker. So, it's like I think I kind of got spoiled on Captain America because it's just like, oh yeah, this was up here, and now everything else is like, oh, in this area, I don't. It's just like I would rather read the stuff up here.
The 2 best Captain America stories ever were Death of Cap and Winter Soldier, both done by Brubaker, and nothing's come anywhere close to that since.
Yeah. And
not even Mark Waid and Chris Samney could keep me on a Cap book.
No. So, like, to me, Captain America's always been kind of like, I don't want to say boring, but like just not that interesting for me personally. And it's just it's not getting better. And it's like unless you're writing the stuff around him is so good, like the Brubaker stuff, it's hard to like kind of draw me in with Cap. And that's the same goes for Falcon. Sam Cap, because it's just, just not into it.
All right. And then the last bit is gonna be DC related. And this isn't like news series stuff or anything, but it's me really rolling my eyes here. So I want to get your take on it too. So DC is canceling the Justice League title at issue number 75 and they're going to be doing a Death of the Justice League for the 30th anniversary of the death of Superman. Now, not that long ago, Philip Kennedy Johnson denied that that was happening, but Joshua Williamson claims that it is real and it will have major impacts on the DC universe going forward. And claims it is that everything they've been doing has been leading up to his Justice League Incarnate and what they're doing with that. So it's like, okay, are we doing like a 5G thing again? You know, is like Yara gonna take over and Jonathan Kent and someone else for Bruce? Like, but I mean, but that's like Arthur Curry's gone too. I guess maybe Hal, like who, I don't even know who's on the Justice League.
Yeah.
Hippolyta, I know this is one of them. But anyway, what are your thoughts on all this?
I think it's a dumb event book. I'm not interested at all. I mean, like I might read it just for this pod, but other than that, I wouldn't really buy it. I would just probably read spoilers online because there's just nothing about this that interests me. Like the death of stuff, it was like super cool when it happened to Superman the first time, but anymore, I'm just like I don't care. And Philip Kennedy Johnson, the tweet that I saw recently, I was trying to look for it when you were talking, but I couldn't find it in time. But apparently, like someone asked, like, how's this going to affect Action Comics? Like, oh, we've all worked around this, like we know what's going on, blah blah blah. I I don't know. I'm just really not interested in it, and I think it's a waste of time. So comment down below if you think we should read this, and we will. But if you say don't read it, spare your sanity. We won't. But
We know you guys love to hear us complain, though.
As a comic book shop owner, are you excited? Just not as a fan, just as a comic book shop owner.
No, because here's the thing. I can already visualize in my head which customers are going to come in and just complain about this the entire time that it's happening. You know, they read these comics for these characters that they're killing off, and the hashtag not my insert character is going to be happening a lot, and I'm annoyed already, and it's not even happening. So
yeah, like okay, so part of me thinks it's like what they're trying to say is going to happen, like them all dying or whatever. I don't think it's gonna. Part of me just goes, that's not gonna happen. Like it's all, it's just them kind of like blowing smoke, and we aren't gonna get the 5G stuff. I think they might introduce, like, because we still haven't gotten that speedster in the main universe because they were in a separate universe. They haven't even shown up in this universe yet. That type of thing. So we might have like a couple issues where they pop up and like some of the other characters that were in the Justice League from the future, future state. But then it's gonna, because like Wonder Woman, her casket's up front and center, and she's not dead. Like she was in, she's continued on in future state. Superman was still alive during future state, and like even the way greater future stuff. So yeah.
here's something else I just thought of that would make it even more annoying. Wonder Woman, like you know it because I've been reading it and telling you about it. She just came back because everyone thought she was dead, but she was off doing that Norse stuff and jumping through like alternate fun dimensions. It would be so lame if like, oh, she's actually dead, guys. Like Steve Trevor has to go to therapy now because he thought she died, then she didn't, then she died.
Yeah.
I don't know. So do you think that that they're just gonna let Philip Kennedy Johnson like do his own thing? That's their workaround, or
I think they're doing that for all of them because, like with Green Lantern, I have a feeling they're not going to be like, okay, so you know how you've been doing all of this specific things for John in this series. We're killing him because he's the only Green Lantern that's not at the funeral, and there's a Green Lantern casket, so he's the one in there. It's like we're killing him. I guess you got to write about Hal, buddy.
Oh, and he doesn't want to do that.
So that tells me, yeah, in this book they might be dead, but Action Comics is going to stay the same. Green Lantern's going to stay the same. I have a feeling Flash might change. I wouldn't be surprised if they change that, but I think Jeremy Adams will kind of put whoever he wants in Flash. Like he could probably introduce this other character along with Wally and have them both together, because I don't think Wally would be the one that would die. It'd probably be Barry.
Right.
So, and Barry's still missing, so that might be part of it. But they might all just end up getting missing too. We don't really know yet.
That's
One
true.
plus is I like Williamson, so like that's the one thing that's got me like Williamson. He's had some stuff where I didn't love it, but he's never really steered me wrong as far like to the point where like, oh, Joshua Williamson, more like Joshua Williamson, so
Got
I've
him.
never once said that about him.
Nobody has.
Just watch. Our listeners are just going to bombard him with that on Twitter. So,
Oh
why do
yeah,
they keep calling me Joshua Williamson? I hate it.
that's definitely something our listeners would do. But anyway, that is the end of the news. So now we're going to take our ad break, and then we'll be back to talk about the hefty stack of comics that we read this week. So we'll be right back.
Hefty.
All right, man. We have a topic this week.
I mean, not really. You do anything fun this weekend?
Nah. I just kind of chilled, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're being honest.
Just I was doing more post game stuff with Pokemon.
Oh, nice. So you beat it?
Yeah.
Cool. And then now you're just trying to get legendaries or what?
Yeah, I have. So like every game has the box art legendary and then the 3 legendary not legendaries. So I caught those 3, but now I've got I think his name's like Giratina or something. He's the big floaty worm with like arms that you
Oh yeah.
see. I got to do that, but otherwise I'm just like exploring the Grand Underground. It's
Yeah.
been fun.
Dude, when I was playing Omega Ruby, like that one's got like weird legendary ones that like because like I got the like the cover one, the other cover one, and then the big dragon that's like a god, basically. I
Mhm.
got so I was like, okay, cool. And then there's like I was like, well, I'm just gonna Google what other legendary ones, and like how do
Oh,
how
it's
do other
the like Regirock and Regis and
yes,
those. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, first off, though, how do people like figure out these things to unlock them? Because like I was having to use the internet because it was like you have to have a whalemer between these levels and then swim out into this ocean and then something opens up for you. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. It's really really insane because well, okay, I don't know. I don't know if you ever did this. Whenever we were kids, I remember having to go into Walmart with a piece of paper and a pencil and looking up the Prima strategy guide puzzle on how to get to Lugia in silver on my Game Boy.
That's hilarious. No, I never had to do it like because I didn't play silver, but I just would look at it. I wouldn't actually, with a pencil and paper. But I would like okay, I'm gonna remember this, and I would like half remember it, so that I have to like try to fill in the blanks from my shoddy memory, like to try to do these other things. And oh man,
So,
and like I found out later on, the strategy guys they don't always know everything, because like
right.
I got the one for Super Smash Bros, the first one, and they're like, Luigi's uppercut, it's weaker than Mario's because it didn't combo, but it also can kill you one shot.
Right.
And like they're like, Jigglypuff's sleep is just a useless move. Like she just goes to sleep. And I'm like, and like we were playing it, and like we found out, like, oh, they're wrong.
They're very wrong.
Like it's gotten easier now, but like in that first game, it was difficult. But man, it was just like, wow.
There's a lot of nostalgia for me in those guides. Like I like them. I still have several of them right here above my shoulder on the shelf. But dude, whenever I was writing down the stuff for that silver, one of the electronics employees came over, and he was probably like in high school or something. And he's like, you're not really supposed to do that in here. And I was like, please, dude, I can't figure out how to get to Lugia. And he's like, all right, that's fine. And he walked away.
That's hilarious.
But dude, come on, imagine how sad and pathetic I must have looked sitting on the floor of Walmart trying to write down this stupid puzzle. So
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
glad that he let me.
I mean, it's like it's better. Like, so, when I was a kid, this would have been like probably third grade. I was playing. I had on Nintendo Link. I was Legend of Zelda Link Get to the Past, I think, and I was like, I just went on. It was like Game Radar or something like that, and like they had the full walkthrough, and I was like, well, I'll print this off, and then like it was like page 1 of 180. I was like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna print this off.
I really wish you had done the entire thing. That's so funny. I love it. Yeah, dude. Some of those, there's just, I don't know how you'd know without looking it up or having a
Yeah,
guide. I'm assuming that surely like the devs must have leaked it for someone to put it online, right? Because
they
there's
had
just
to
no
have,
other way to know.
because I mean, I know developers do that because they did that with I think it was Arkham Asylum. There was like the thing that was hidden so well that no one ever found it. So then they're just
Yeah.
like, this is how, like, go do this, guys. I want you guys to see this.
I love it, man. We we could do a Pokemon spinoff, Casey. Let me tell you,
I
it'd
know,
be
but we
nuts.
we still have our anime spinoff to start up.
I'm just saying it could happen.
It could. Speaking of, you watch any more Gundam?
Yeah, I finished it.
Okay, we'll have to do that, not tonight because we have too many comics, but
Yeah.
later this week.
All right. Welcome back, folks. We just honestly mostly talked about Pokemon on our ad break over on YouTube. So
Some
if you
some what not, I almost said study guide. Some what you call it?
Prima study guide or Prima strategy guides,
Strategy guide.
but
I'm
also
glad you said study guide too.
I tell a mildly embarrassing story from my youth involving those. So if you'd like to hear it, go check it
Feel
out.
feel like it'd be relatable for the listeners though.
Yeah, I mean we're all nerds here.
Yeah, I mean, he went. I think Jake went the extra step as a kid, but it's like we've all wanted to be that, be that prepared.
Yeah. So if you do want to check that out, it's Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube. But anyways, Casey, let's get into the comics we read. I'll get the timer set, but what did you read this week?
Okay, so I read Batgirls #2, Superman son of Kal-El, 6 of 7. Every time I read this, I always want to say son of Krypton. I'm like, I know that's not right. Green Lantern #10, Power Rangers #15, Silver Surfer Rebirth #1, Black Manta 5 of 6, Dark Ages #4, Shang Chi #7, Hulk #3, Devil's Reign X-Men #1, The Devil's Reign Superior Ford #1, Batman the Knight 1 of 10, Catwoman 39, The Thing #3, The Death of Doctor Strange Bloodstone #1, Blue and Gold 5 of 8, DC versus Vampires 3 of 12, Primordial #5, Silk #1, Thor #20, Mazebook #5, and Daredevil Woman Without Fear #1. I feel like our hour's up already.
I know, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And mine is almost as bad, but we've got Aquaman the Becoming 5, Hawkeye Kate Bishop #3, Moon Knight #7, Wonder Woman 783, Icon and a Rocket #5, Suicide Squad King Shark #5, Nightwing 88, Death of Doctor Strange Bloodstone, Mazebook #5, Primordial #5, Silk #1, Batman the Knight #1, DC versus Vampires #3, Daredevil Woman Without Fear #1, Blue and Gold #5, Catwoman #39, and Thor #20. And I did read The Thing. I just don't have it in this stack.
Right on. Okay, so really quick, I will start. And with Batgirls, this is by Becky Cloonan and Will Conrad. I think that's his name. And who does the art? I'll gotta find it.
Jorge Corona.
Jorge Corona does the art. And yeah, the art's really nice in this. I don't remember what Jake rated it. Did you give like an 8?
Yeah, it was decently high.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it's just pretty cool. Interesting seeing where it goes. A little too chatty at times. It's like, oh yeah, let's over explain everything when it's not really necessary. But I like the way Stephanie's written, and I like the way Barbara is written, very much like the Hin Mother, type of thing. I think it works. I think it's fun. If you want a good fun book, you should read it. I'm gonna give it 7.5 out of 10. I didn't like it as much as Jake did.
All right. Aquaman the Becoming, number 5. It's written by Brandon Thomas, and art is done by Paul Pelletier and Diego Olortegui. Very sorry about that. This issue is fine. We get some bonding between Jackson and his sister, and we get some background info on their messed up family situation. Meanwhile, there's a big plot in regards to the big unification between the Atlanteans and the, is it Zebel or something like that? Zebel. Anyway, they find out what that is, and Jackson goes off to see if he can stop their plan. So it was totally fine. It's not as strong as it was in the beginning. It's kind of gone downhill a little bit for me, so I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10.
The worst part about that series is like I like Jackson okay, but like by himself he's like fine. With Aquaman, the two of them are just like outrageous together. Like it's so great. I wish they just keep those two together for the full series. It'd be so much better.
Well, we keep seeing this prelude to Aquaman, so I hope that that's what we're leading to, unless they kill them all off.
I hope it's the same creative team too, personally, because it's just that'd be awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna jump on to Superman, Son of Kal-El. I'll kind of lump these two together because they're both Tom Taylor and oh no, we got two different creative teams. Great. So it's Tom Taylor on number 6 with John Timms on the art. I'm really not feeling this book. It's just kind of like, oh, it's one of those things where like Tom Taylor's like, oh, my new created character has got to be great. And so like everyone loves him. Like Damien's like, hey, you're here. And, like they kind of talk and like he's like, oh, he's really good at investigating. Like, oh, Lois is here now too. She's investigating it for some reason now. Didn't know about it before, but now she is. And then like Damien's like, hey, John, happy for you, bud. Like it's just like, have you like I know you've written him and like Deceased, but have you ever read Damien, dude?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wasn't super hot on this, and it wasn't my favorite. I'm gonna give this like probably a 4 out of 10. And then this was the one when I saw this cover, I was like, oh boy, it's gonna be pretty rough ski. And I was thinking about this today. So this is Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 7, and by Tom Taylor with a different artist. And I gotta find the names. Cian Torme on the art. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna show them my sort of terrorist group that we're gonna be hanging out. Like, oh, we want the truth. And like they're like in this big boat. And they might, I mean, like, I'm assuming they're going to do some terrorist activities. I don't know for sure, but that's where my mind automatically goes. It's like, we're like, Greenpeace is like, no, we're doing stuff to save the animals. It doesn't matter if we're murdering, fishermen, whatever. But, it's like this giant monster starts attacking and John kind of shows up and then he goes down below and he's like, oh, its home was just destroyed. It doesn't know what it's doing. And then the bad guys show up and they start, pretending to be superheroes and they start attacking it. And the monster kills one of the heroes, the fake heroes. And it's like, I was thinking about this. My problem with Tom Taylor's way of doing political stuff in comics is his main characters are just always right. Like that's how you talk about with his Nightwing. it's just like, oh no, my characters know everything because they're the ones I'm writing as myself, like they're me basically, and they know everything. They know how to fix the problems and they're fixing it. It's no actual growth from them. They can't go like, oh, I did something wrong. It's no, everyone else did. I'm perfect. And I'm thinking that must be what I don't like about his politics in the comics. Like I think I finally worked it out with that, what why it annoys me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that issue wasn't very good. So I'm at probably about a 3, and I'm done with this. It's not the last time you're gonna hear me saying I'm done with the series this go around.
All right. Kate Bishop Hawkeye #3. It's written by Marique Nijkamp and art by Enid Balam. This book's fine. I don't know if I will keep going with it if weeks remain as heavy as they are, just because it's like, I mean, it's just her trying to figure out this thing while also rekindling a relationship with her sister. This book tries to be quirky, and I think it falls flat most of the time. The only thing that I really like about it is really just the dog. And that's not a good enough
I knew
reason
you
to
were gonna
pick it
say
up.
that.
So yeah, I don't know if I'll continue with it. I mean, it's fine, but it's like a 5 out of 10 just because I'm reading it because I liked the show a lot. And I think that's probably why they cranked it out like that.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of books, we're dropping Green Lantern #10 by Jeffrey Thorne, and we got Chris Cross, Juan Castro, and Marco Santucci on the art. And yeah, you have like John still dealing with his godlike powers, and then like it cuts like it goes to the other side of the issue where it's Joe and Simon dealing with like this weird guardian that's all evil and whatnot. And yeah, I was not into it. I was so bored. I really couldn't get through it. I just hated it. And yeah, so it's a 1 out of 10 for me.
1 out of 10. That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I've not enjoyed this series since.
No, you haven't. I think I said like 4 issues back, I can't believe you're still getting this. So
yeah, and I think the only reason now it's very similar to you. It's like this gigantic stack of comics. It's like I need to get rid of some of these, and this one that I do not enjoy is going.
All right, next is Moon Knight #7. It's written by Jed McKay and art by Federico Sabatini. The guest artist is still really solid. This issue is them hunting down people that work with Zodiac to try and figure out what his game plan is and what the deal is. And then it turns out, spoiler alert, that Tigra is only here because Black Panther sent her there to watch out for him for the Avengers. So that's probably going to cause some friction whenever Moon Knight finds out about it. And then the issue ends with Zodiac tracks down Mark's therapist and is probably going to like kill her or something, if I had to guess. So hopefully Moon Knight gets there in time, but still really liking this book. It's an 8 out of 10 for me.
Are you sad that your SS Moon Knight and Tigra ship is going down?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. It'll probably be I was here for the Avengers, but now I'm here for you. We'll see.
Then Moon Knight's gonna be like, are you talking about Mark, Moon Knight, or one of his other
Stephen Grant or Jake? Yeah.
Okay, so next for me is Power Rangers #15, and this has got Ryan Parrott writing and illustrated by Francisco Moratini and Marco Renna. This is really cool, just really stupid, really cool. Like I don't know what's going on. You got, like there's an Ultra Omega Zord. Like it's these two, multiple Power Rangers, and they all just like combine to make this super space Megazord, and then they fight the things, and some crazy stuff happens. Like it's one of those things where it's like I don't know really what's going on, but boy is it cool, and I'm all about it. So I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. I'm glad I picked this up, and I'm dropping on Green Lantern.
Okay. Next for me is Wonder Woman 783. It's written by Michael Conrad and Becky Cloonan with Marcio Takara on the art. And Dr. Psycho is mind controlling somebody that they claim is the Shining Knight. So Casey, Marcio Takara drawing the Shining Knight. You know how much I enjoyed this issue, right?
That's like gotta be, one of your top 10 weird things for him to draw that you would love to see.
Yep, absolutely. So I want to show you a panel from it. Just look at it. Doesn't he look amazing?
Mm-hmm.
But Wonder Woman at one point is like, this can't really be Sir Justin under the helmet, but he never confirms or denies it. So that makes me think that it's not really Sir Justin, and I'm curious who it is. But
Dude, Shining Knight's one of those ones that have such weird continuity after Grant Morrison mess with them.
yeah, that is absolutely true. But anyway, then more of the like duplicate glass Wonder Women show up, and Shining Knight works with Wonder Woman to take them all out. He's like, we'll resume our chivalrous one-on-one duel after these people that are interfering are taken care of. So like he has characteristics of a knight. I just still don't think it's him.
It'd be funny since they're all glass Wonder Woman, if he accidentally hits Wonder Woman, he's like, oh, sorry, y'all look the same.
But yeah, anyway, it's super cool. We'll see what happens next. I think Hippolyta or
Hippolyta.
Yeah, sorry, Hippolyta meets one of these Wonder Women. So now it's starting to bleed over into more of the Amazonian stuff as well. But it's really cool. I love it. 9 out of 10.
Nice, man. Okay, so next up for me is going to be Silver Surfer. This is by Ron Mars and Ron Lim. So it's a couple of Rons.
Couple of your favorite Rons there, bud.
I mean, I like Ron Mars. I don't know Ron Lim really. I mean, I'm enjoying the art. I wouldn't have ever been able to place him.
He did a lot of Thunderstrike Thor stuff.
Oh, really? Like, see, it's one of those names where like I do not recognize it, but I like it. But this book, it's very much, since this is not in continuity, you get some different stuff going on, and it's odd. I don't know what the heck is going on, why Captain Marvel's really shown up, or why he did show up. He's not quite in it after the little bit that he's in, but it's interesting. It's just, to me, it's not good enough to want to keep reading. Like that's the one downside. Like if you were, if like you had someone in your shop come in and be like, hey, is this any good? You'd be like, yeah, it's good. And it is. But with a stack of, I think I said 23 books, I can cut the fat and just say it's not good enough for that, but it's perfectly fine. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10.
Is there lots of Silver Surfer and Captain Marvel, or is it mostly one?
I'd say it's mostly Silver Surfer. You get so it starts off, Janice Vell shows up, and like it's like early Janice Vell, like the earlier than I've ever seen him Janice Vell type of, early Janice Vell. And they talk for a bit, and then they go through this thing, and like Janice turns into Marvel. And then him and Surfer are teaming up, and like Surfer does not know what's going on because Marvel's dead, and then it ends with Thanos showing up basically.
Okay. I'm asking because when people ask me, I'll be able to tell them now.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, people come into your shop and they're like, oh, I like Silver Surfer. You'd be like, yeah, you more likely really like this because Ron Mars, the worst you can say about him is like the story's not great, not great. Like as far as his character work, he 9 times out of 10 nails it. So
yeah, good. All right. Next is Icon and Rocket. Come on, I just had the page up. It's written by Reginald Hudland and Leon Chills, and pencils by Doug Braithwaite. So essentially, Rocket has been like skipping school, so they're making her go to school. And in the hallway, she runs into both Static and her ex-boyfriend that convinced her to break into Icon's house in the first issue. And Static is being a grade A doucher, being like, hey, I know you're Rocket, but I'm Static. We should like hang out, and just being like really like forward and just so out of character. I hated it. I
Yeah.
hate it. It was just creepy and not like him at all. He's not like that. Um, so then this other guy comes up and he's just like, hey, I'm new to the school. Can you show me around? And he's like a handsome guy. So she goes with him. He convinces her to skip the rest of the day of school and goes with him to his lake house. And boom, turns out he's the shape-shifting alien that's been trying to kill Icon for centuries. And that's how it ends. And he takes her belt that like gives her some of her abilities. So uh yeah, like the stuff outside of Static was fine, but that left such a bad taste in my mouth that it really soured the book as a whole. Like when you get that on the cover, I was all sorts of excited.
Yeah.
Um, but man, it was such a letdown. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10.
Dang, that's probably your lowest for any of the milestone books so far, huh?
Yep.
All right, so next up for me is Black Manta 5 of 6, and this is by Chuck. For the love of God, Casey, please stop calling me Charlie Brown, and Valentine De Landro on the art. I enjoy the art. The story itself, I'm just kind of like so on. It's, dealing with some weird Atlantean stuff, and then like we deal with his sidekick in this, and his sidekick is way too quippy, and then like he's forced to work with the bad guy because the bad guy stabbed his sidekick and was like, I can remote do this anytime, blah blah blah. If you pull this out, she'll die, so come with me and work with me. And then like he goes, and then she's like, take it out of me. And so then they do. So it's like, oh, okay, so him working with him now is pointless. Okay, I got it. So it was kind of lame all in all. But one more issue. I'm not hating as much as I hated, the last mini series I read. I'll say that when we were talking about the most okay books ever, when we're doing our awards, this one should have been nominated. I didn't think about it because it's just that okay. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10.
Okay. Next up for me is Suicide Squad King Shark #5. It's written by Tim Seeley and art is done by Scott Collins. This issue was fine. It wasn't as fun as previous issues because it's 5 out of 6 and they're trying to wrap up some story stuff. But yeah, it's about to be the Human Champion versus King Shark, and Defacer feels bad, so she tells King Shark that she's been sleeping with the human guy and telling him all of King Shark's weaknesses. So there's a bit of a blowout, but then the fight happens, and in the middle of the fight, Defacer realizes that she's always relied on some guy to like, develop a personality around or rely on. So she's like, F that, I'm gonna be my own person, and shows up in the stands and cheers for King Shark, and that's enough for King Shark to overcome the human guy, and he wins the fight. But then it turns out that the human champion isn't really the human champion. He takes off he's been wearing like a bandana around his eyes the whole time, so he takes that off, and there's like some weird goopy stuff, and turns out he's been the host for something this entire time, and we'll find out what that is in the finale next issue.
It's gonna be that same thing Tamaki wrote about in Detective Comics. It's gonna like it's like this will be guest written by Tamaki.
Yeah. I would hate that so much. But anyway, this was fine. It just wasn't like as fun as the rest of them, and that's why I'm reading this. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
All right, so next up for me is Dark Ages #4 by Tom Taylor and Ivan Coelho. And like there's some really cool stuff in this. So like you get X-Men pirates like Nightcrawler, Pirate Nightcrawler, super cool. And then like
Excalibur days.
yeah, and like they come up with the whole reasons why like oh these ones are the pirates, like Colossus is there because he can pull up the anchor, and Storm's there because she can make the sails go and blah blah blah. And so then they get their team together, and as they're out, Nick Fury's with them. And what does Tom Taylor do?
Kills people.
Yep, he kills Nick Fury with, which this is one of the parts that's kind of stupid when you think about it, the Ghost Raiders. So it's a bunch of pirate Ghost Riders, which sounds cool, but it also doesn't make any sense. And they're easily killed and defeated. So it's like, oh, okay. But one of their helpers, this is one thing that is pretty neat, is Fin Fang Foom. Fin Fang Foom is written by Hank Pym, and he guards the ports for him and stuff, and it's pretty neat. But I just get tired of the senseless murders. I just get tired of it. It's just like, oh yeah, you're just doing this to like strum up interest in your book because it's like it'd be much more interesting to have him not die, and you have to work around this character not being dead but being injured or something like that. Like that's harder to write, but it's easier just to be like, feel something for this dead guy. And that to me is, it's just lazy every time. But like I said, cool stuff happens in this book. It's enjoyable. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10 because it's still just kind of like
All right. Nightwing 88, written by Tom Taylor and art by Bruno Redondo. The art is 12 out of 10. But man, I just hate how stupid Dick is in this book. He's gonna go break the soil, like have a soil breaking ceremony for this new housing.
groundbreaking.
Yes. Well, no, they specifically use that phrase, which is why
that's even dumber.
Housing for the homeless youth in the city, because Tom Taylor knows how to fix everything. And Barbara's like, okay, well, me and the dog are going to come as well. And Dick's like, well, I don't think that's a good idea. And Babs is like, okay, well, we're doing it anyways. And he's like, oh, okay. So Dick goes here knowing there's a hit out on him and brings the kids up on stage with him. And big surprise, there's a shooter on the scene.
He learned well from Batman. He has the shields.
So yeah, a couple of shooters were hired by Blockbuster to take out Grayson, because the whole arc is called Get Grayson. And but thankfully the Titans show up at the last minute. And Donna and Corey stop two of the shooters, and Flash is there to grab Dick before he gets shot, or a child gets shot by one of the other shooters. And then all the Titans show up at Blockbusters, and they're like, we're sure you have some alibi as to why you're not tied to these shooters, but we know it was you, and you should know that Dick Grayson's under our protection. And then they leave. But then Wally takes Dick to Mr. Terrific, who helps him develop a new suit that he can wear under his regular clothes, so that if another assassination attempt happens, he's good against not only bullets, but now stabby things too. Yeah, and then at the end, the guy that steals hearts from a while back shows up and steals the heart out of one of the shooters that was hired before. And then it says, next, Superman. So now we're going to get a Son of Kal-El Nightwing crossover that everybody's been asking for. Do you understand my frustrations with this book?
Yeah, I'm reading Son of Kal-El, so I get it.
Just like, why is he writing everyone to be so stupid? Why would Dick Grayson, knowing he has a hit out, bring kids up on stage with them? I know you're making a joke about he learned from Batman, but if we're looking at this like an honest reader, it's just fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it. Now here's another question too. Like, it's just kind of like, oh, why is Dick Grayson friends with the Teen Titans to the point where they're gonna go out of their way from Titans Tower to protect them? It's almost like he's Nightwing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a good way of dealing with your secret identity.
No, because Blockbuster is smart enough of a villain nowadays where he's kind of like Kingpin. Like he would put those two together, and
Yeah,
maybe he will. I don't know.
does this Blockbuster know already? Because I remember in the, like when I was reading Devin Grayson's run, he knew and he was ruining his life for the fun of it.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case right now.
Okay.
And he definitely doesn't know that the mayor is his secret sister. God, why am I reading this? Uh, anyway, I'm giving it a 3. The 3 is just for the art. And I feel bad because the art deserves a lot higher than a 3. But when
Yeah.
you've got Tom Taylor's stupid writing, that's what you get.
What's their time at, man?
30 minutes.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go with Shang Chi next. This is by Jean Luen Yang and Dyke Ruin on the art. And this was the weakest issue of Jean Luen Yang Shang-Chi book so far. So you have Shang talking, eating with his mom, and then it's like, oh, there's betraying the group, type of thing. And it's not the sibling you'd expect. And they're attacking and stuff. And it's like the reasoning why it's, in my opinion, kind of lame. It's just kind of like, I saw you were weak, but it's like her character, the sister's characteristics, or the siblings, I'm gonna say, it never was like, oh, this seems like it's gonna happen. It's like they were happy where they were before, and then like they weren't even sure if they wanted to join up with Shang to begin with, and then like now all of a sudden they're like, nah, I'm evil this whole time, that type of thing. It just didn't work, in my opinion. Maybe someone else is reading this like, no, it was actually, this makes perfect sense, Casey, you're just a knucklehead. And I'm like, well, fair enough. But yeah, so it didn't work for me in that spot. The art in it's really good, but yeah, like I said, I was a little let down with this. I'm gonna say it's probably a 5.5. Like he's passing, but
Yeah,
like by the skin of his teeth.
that may be the lowest Shang-Chi score ever on this show.
I know, lowest Jean Luen Yang score for sure.
Yeah. I've just got our mutuals.
Okay, don't worry, Gene, I know you're listening and we still love you.
Please come on our show.
Yeah. Or just like hang out. Like we don't even have to do the show. We could just hang out with you and talk.
Yeah.
But so next up is Hulk #3 by Donny Cates and Ryan Otley. Love the art. This series is weird. Basically, like it's kind of somehow Hulk went through this, like is in this other reality with this other Bruce Banner. He's still the big old mech Hulk type of thing. And yeah, we get alternate reality Banner, and the world that he's in is not a very good one. And he's going to be in this world for probably 2 to 3 more issues. I'm interested. Second issue is like still the best issue of this series so far, but this one was still pretty good. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Fun fact, I saw today that those issues of #3 are selling for about $16 on eBay.
Must be like because there's I'm guessing like a first appearance or something, like because it's the alternate reality Bruce, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, so what I hear, this is spoilers. Yeah. Okay. Apparently, one of the characters in the book is going to be Hulk's version of Null.
That makes, I didn't know that, but that makes sense now because there's like a shadowy Hulk type thing. So like I didn't know what that was. It's like there's a lot of trauma in Bruce's mind. So I was like,
this could just be people are bored this week and need a reason to jack a regular price book through the roof. So who knows if that's even going to happen.
See, that's what's really stupid too, though, with this is like Al Ewing, because he already had something like the darker side of him, and that was the Devil Hulk. And Al Ewing kind of ruined that, in my opinion. Some people really liked, that stuff. I really didn't. And I remember reading the Devil Hulk, and that was like the worst part of the Hulk, like the most evil, clearly, because his name's the devil. He was like a big serpent monster, and all of these other Hulk personas had to help take him down. And then like it ended up being Bruce had to like make amends with the Savage Hulk, and then that's how they beat him, because like Savage Hulk didn't want anything to do with him, type of thing. And then like Al Ewing's like, he's actually a good guy. And so that was one of the reasons why I didn't like Immortal Hulk. But like they could have done something with, since this is all inside Hulk's head, this series with the Devil Hulk would have been really neat. And since now with this, shadowy guy, I don't know what they're doing. I'm still interested though.
Yeah.
Okay, so Devil's Reign, X-Men by Gary Duggan and Phil Noto. The art's really good, but there's some inconsistencies here. And the one I'm going to highlight, it's something that was actually brought up online first. And like, first off, I don't like that Devil's Reign is, I guess he's like the type, like, US agent's the type of guy that's going to follow orders, but like, he's just literally a villain. Like that's, what he is in Devil's Reign. And I'm like, I don't like that. That's pretty goofy. Like he seemingly should have enough sense that, working for Kingpin on the Thunderbolts is the bad guy thing, but whatever. But the there's one part when the Thunderbolts show up, and like, okay, you have to answer me this. Rogue is talking to Rhino, and she's like, "What are you doing, Rhino? You look ridiculous over there." Remy gonna be very disappointed. Does Remy and Rhino, do they have like a history?
Not that I know of.
Okay, because like
I
I didn't know if like in one of the Gambit series they would have like crossed paths or something, because I figured you'd know since you read all of the Gambit series.
Yeah, but there's plenty of X-Men stuff that could have gone down that I don't know about.
But this is the inconsistency that really bothers me. So Taskmaster is right next to Wolverine, Laura Wolverine, and he goes, "I fought the original Wolverine, but not this pretender." And she's like, "Oh, dude, I'm so not interested." And first off, Laura sounds stupid. But secondly, they have fought in All New Wolverine #1. So it's like the guy that can remember everything, that's his power, is like, who's this? So that was pretty dumb.
Maybe she beat him so badly that it was beaten out of him.
My thought is maybe it's like her, I think it's Gabby is the like her clone, Laura's clone. So maybe Gabby's just dressed up like Wolverine, and Task is the only one that could pick up on it. It's like, I don't know who this is. I fought the real one. Right. I think her name was Laura. But yeah, so I wasn't super hot on this. Like the story itself is kind of good. Like Gary Duggan is a good writer. It's just like that kind of annoyed me. It's like I shouldn't know more than you do as far as this, But yeah, it's perfectly fine. The way they kind of like go about messing up Kingpin's plans was pretty funny, and I'm interested in seeing where it happens next. But it's probably a 6.5 out of 10. This one I wasn't as hot on because it made a lot less sense. And this is Devil's Reign Superior 4, #1.
We need to pick up the pace as well, man, if we're gonna make our time.
Yeah, by Zach Thompson and David Tinto. And basically there's these different versions of the Doc Ocks. There one's a Ghost Rider, one's a Hulk, one's a Wolverine, and one's a regular Doc Ock. But it's like, oh yeah, no, they're like Bruce. Like it starts off making you think, oh, it's like Bruce, it's Auto Bruce and Auto, Logan and Auto Blaze and all this other stuff. But then it's like, no, he's just villains that became the more superior version. Like they kind of lead you to believe both. And I'm like, that's dumb. But yeah, so I'm not overly interested in this, but we do get a Dr. Otto Doom at the end, which I'm like, that's pretty cool looking. So yeah, I'm probably at a 5 with that one. Wasn't super into it. So really quick, I'll let you talk, but what order do you want to do this in?
Let's do Bloodstone, Mazebook, Primordial, Vampires, Blue and Gold, Catwoman, Daredevil, Thing, Thor, Silk, the Knight.
Okay, I think I'm almost there. So you said after Catwoman, the Thing.
Sure. Thing, Daredevil.
Okay, and Thor, Silk, and Knight.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. I'll let you start, buddy.
All right. So we've got Death of Doctor Strange, Bloodstone, #1. It's written by Teenie Howard and Nick Guara. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I didn't think it was very good.
No, same.
Everybody was written so poorly. I couldn't care less what happens to anybody in this book. Elsa is just a dick in this, and so is her brother. Didn't like any of it. Art was pretty good. This is like a 2 out of 10 for me. Really disappointed.
Yeah, I was let down. I think Elsa's a cool character. I don't think she's written too out of character because she's always kind of a jerk, but just I wasn't too interested in this. I'm gonna go 3.5 out of 10.
All right.
Okay, so next up is Primordial by Jeff Lemire and Andre Sorrentino on the art. I loved it. Did you like it?
I did. It was great. Absolutely heartbreaking.
Yep. I was very upset when I finished it, but that didn't stop me from giving it a 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 9 just because of how sad I am.
Yeah, like it broke my heart, but I was like, I loved it.
All right, next we've got Mazebook #5 by Jeff Lemire. Casey, what did you think?
Loved it. Another one. It's like I read this one too, and it was another one of those ones where I'm like, yeah, I really, really love this. Did you like it?
I did. Again, kind of sad, but it wrapped up very well.
I'm at a 9.5. The one part I didn't like was the whole Minotaur thing. Like I thought that was kind of just out there. They kind of put it in and then really didn't go anywhere in my opinion. Yep. Other than that, absolutely love this series as a whole. So like the series as a whole, probably like a 9.5 also. You should really be reading it.
Yeah, I would give it a 9 as well. One of the best Image books I've read in a while.
Okay, so next up it's DC versus Vampires, and this is written by James Tynion and Matthew Rosenberg, with Otto Schmidt doing the old art stuff. What did you think about this, man?
I'm still liking it. It's a shame that well, we'll just talk spoilers. It's a shame that Zatanna was turned. And then obviously at the end, Wonder Woman was too. But I do really like some of the character interactions, like between Jaina and Batman. I'm in it. I like it.
Yep, I have a lot of things I hated though. Like first off, Hal Jordan should not be able to even I don't care if he's got vampire add-ons, should not be able to pierce Wonder Woman's skin. Secondly, if Zatanna is a vampire and they keep their powers, why hasn't she just said, something backwards to make everyone stop moving so the vampires can eat them?
Or so, like, reversed her vampirism.
Wouldn't want to. They're baddies now. So like I thought a lot of stuff was really stupid. It kind of annoyed me. Character writing was fine, but like just the trying to shoe in vampires, and like this would work better with a Marvel book versus DC where these guys are just too tough. So yeah, I'm like probably at a 4 for it.
Oh really? Oh yeah. Man, I'm still liking it. I'm gonna give it a 7.
I'm hoping I like the next issue.
Yeah. Okay, then we got Blue and Gold #5. It's written by Dan Jurgens and art by Ryan Sook. Casey, we got a lot of tasty Rip Hunter this issue. What'd you think of that?
Okay, so I have one question for you. Just like I don't know if it's my color blindness or just the way this works, but on like the Rip Hunter dialogue, I can't read that to save my life because the way the red is with the other color in there. Like I had so much trouble trying to read that. Did you have any issue?
I didn't, but
okay, well, dang.
One of us has a disability, so
I know I need to get one of those placards for my Jeep. But I liked it. I liked seeing Rip in there. I didn't like that he got Jedi mind tricked though.
Yeah, same. I think that's kind of a, I don't know, just an easy out sort of thing. Also, I'm getting a little wore out by the background like stream
I
chat.
I've been worn out since issue 1.
Well, it's finally getting to me, but I will say I liked it when the two gals met
Yes,
each other. That was
that
funny.
was hilarious. But yeah, I thought this was fine. Like it's nothing that, I think this is a book made by a, like a for sure Booster Gold and Blue Beetle fan for Booster Gold and Blue Beetle fans. So it's like it's hitting where it needs to.
Yeah.
For me, it's 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I'm about a 6.5 on it.
Okay, so Catwoman 39 by Teeny Howard. And where is the art at? You know the art off the top of your head?
No, I don't.
All right, well, I'm
Unfortunately,
trying to find it.
this is one of the few.
Oh,
It's
Teeny
really
Howard
good.
and Nico Lien on the art. And the art is great. And I'll add, oh, duh. I was like, I'm going to add the colors. Jordy Belair on the colors. So no wonder it's great.
Yeah.
What did you think, though?
I liked most of it. I think, oh man, how I don't know how to say it. Some of the dialogue's a little cringy for me, but overall, like I think it's neat for the new creative team. I'm willing to give it another issue, but if I'm not like loving it by the next one, I may drop it.
Yeah, I didn't like it. First off, I hate that they're like, oh, now the crime bosses of Gotham are meeting. Where like I know Penguin kind of got arrested last time, but it's like Penguin should be here. We're getting these people that are all new characters that they made up for this. It's like, I mean, they're like one of them they're connecting to the Falcone crime family, but it's like, really, you're gonna just kind of toss these new characters in, say they're like the head of the crimes, and then we get this guy that looks like a
But it looks like
villain.
Ghostmaker.
I was gonna say like he looks like a ghost maker, but like anime-fied.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm anime ghost maker.
But seriously, if they just said I'm
I
Ghostmaker, I'd be like,
I
oh
thought for
yeah,
I
okay.
thought for sure it was at
Yeah.
first, but so I thought that was lame. I'm really not feeling it, and it's another one of those books where I was like, I'm reading too much stuff for not to love this. Like
Yeah.
it just like I think Teeny Howard watched a bunch of anime and then was like, I'm gonna make this into my Catwoman book. And for you, who is a hardcore anime boy, and like I'm anime boy curious, so it's
Phrasing.
just it just doesn't work as like it doesn't work as well for me personally. So yeah, I'm probably at a 4.5.
Okay. I'm at a 5.5.
All right. So next up is I guess we were gonna do the thing next, but you don't have that, so
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. So
I'll get the
Walter
next one.
Mosley and Tom Riley on the thing. So this is part 3. Did you like this one?
Not really. I thought the pacing was crazy weird in it. And it really took me out of it. Like it jumped all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, like the fight, this Tom Riley's art is fantastic, and seeing Champion fight the thing was a lot of fun, and that was really cool. But then like about after that, and like that, I don't know, that was kind of odd. And then like you know, the thing and her hooking up was, and then like the dude just decided, oh, I'm gonna fight, Champion, like I'm gonna fight him right off the bat, like her thing deciding that right off the bat. It was kind of weird.
And also I think the kid's weird.
Yeah, the fact that he's just hanging out there, and then the lady knows, she's like, oh, he knows how to handle that, don't worry
And
about it.
I feel like Thing would be like, no, you shouldn't be in here. But he's
Yeah,
like, well, he knows.
well, I mean, in all fairness, he wants to be an Avalanche.
Still.
But and then like the end, like Thing is very, it seems to be very, like he was watching the video, so like does he know that the pixie lady kind of set him up? Like is that what's going on at, like what's, because he seems pretty upset. I mean, I don't know, this is like the weakest issue so far. Like it started off like up here, and it's just been kind of slowly going more and more. I'm going to be at a 7.5 for this issue. I still really like it. I still think the art's fantastic, and seeing Champion be used as like an actual threat again, and just having them fight is pretty dang cool. I still want that issue where they actually fight, and you know, I don't remember what comic it is, but like that one's one of those ones where I'm like, oh, I want that annual.
The art is good. It's the only thing giving it the grade that it's getting, which is a 4 out of 10. Not a fan.
Dang.
Next, we've got Daredevil Woman Without Fear #1, written by Chip Zdarsky and art done by Raphael De La Torre. And I liked this one. The art was cool. I just liked the little adventure she's going on. Everything about it was cool to me.
Yeah, no, I don't really have any complaints. Zdarsky writes Elektra so well. I like, yeah, it's just super cool. He gets the character. I like this. Just I liked it all. Like I don't have any real complaints for it. And I'm
Dude,
so excited for the next issue.
yeah, the final page was amazing, but just Elektra Daredevil has been given the coolest costume we've seen in a very long time. It's the
Yeah.
coolest thing ever. I
mean,
love
it's
it.
like you take Elektra, who's a cool looking character. You take the Daredevil costume, which is a cool looking costume. You toss in Marco Cicchetto, who is just
and
he
a
can't.
scarf.
Yeah, it's like he can't make someone look not cool.
Yeah.
And then it's just like the perfect storm of awesomeness.
Yeah. So that one's getting a 9 from me. It was one of the better ones this week.
I'm giving it a 10 also. I'm pretty fast and loose with my 10s, but it was super good. I don't have any complaints, and I'm excited. It leaves me excited. Like it's not, I wouldn't say it's as good as Primordial was to me, but it's still like it's a different type of good.
The only reason it's not getting a perfect 10 is because it seemed like she was very set on her mission, and then she's like, I'll go to coffee with this guy I met in college. It's just but aren't you on an important mission?
I get it though, because she's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. She didn't really know who she was looking for. And it was also like, you get back in this place, you see a familiar face. It's like, yeah, I get why Elektra, at times Elektra wouldn't do that, but I could also see her doing that.
All right.
Okay, so Thor #20 by Donny Cates and Nick Klein. It's the God of Hammers, but you could also say it the God of Daddy Issues. What did you think of this issue?
It was all right. I mean, I don't like them killing off all the dwarves already. And then I don't know how I feel about Mjolnir at the end. Like, Mjolnir should be trapped inside that Uru, and if she's not, then why isn't she? I want the explanation.
Yeah,
it's not like it was a bad issue. It's just it wasn't as freaking crazy amazing as some of the past issues have been.
Yeah, see, I thought it was kind of a bad issue, if I'm being honest. It's just like it's just Thor going like, Dad, I'm the boss now, and he's like, you're a baby, and he's like, hey, you better kneel for me, and he's like, I won't, and then they just are, it's just them, and then he's like, son, and then they get interrupted, like he's about to have his big breakthrough because he got yelled at very harshly, and he's like, son, I'm sorry, he's about to, but he didn't get that chance, and then it turns out it's like the God of Hammers, Mjolnir. It's just like, gosh, like this. Come on. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm still gonna stick around, but this was just a letdown for me. I'm probably at a 3. Hate to say it.
Yeah, I'm at a 5. Art kept me in it. It was real good.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully, we're about on the same page on these last 2 books, and we end on a strong note. But we'll see.
I mean, for sure, Silk.
Really? You want to save that for last then?
Yeah, let's save that for last then.
Okay, we've got Batman the Knight by Chip Zdarsky, and art is done by Carmine Di Giandomenico. What didn't you like about this?
Like, I mean, I hate like these stories where they're like, oh, Bruce is younger and he's doing stuff. It's like you really have to be bringing it really hard for me to be like, oh wow, this is actually really cool. And this one didn't really bring much. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, you got Bruce acting like, being a kind of a jerk, but not really a jerk to these, like he's like torturing this bully, which is like it's kind of funny, but it's also like if I was that girl and I noticed he was doing that, I would report him because it's like that's steps away from bringing a gun to school for a normal person. So it's just, and then like he's doing all of his, his fight club stuff, and then he gets taken by the cops, and then he's like, "Oh, excuse me, officers, some of these cops are dirty," and they just laugh at him, and it's just like, and then he's also like, Bruce is also like, "I want to be a cop," and then his friend that will never, matter after this series is like, "Well, actually, it you can't be a cop. You're billionaire Bruce Wayne." So it's just like, I don't know. Maybe it just didn't quite work for me. What did you like about it, man?
I think that this is kind of like a time period in Bruce's life that we haven't really seen too much of, like we've seen him like going off to explore the world, and him like the first year or two after losing his parents, but this is like in between that, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I just think it leaves for lots of room for development. Like clearly Alfred is like not having his crap either, and that'll lead to some neat character moments that I trust Zdarsky to deliver on. And I thought the art was good, and I just thought it was a good start.
Oh man, I will say this. Maybe I'm just Alfred starved, but Zdarsky writing Alfred is pretty outstanding. Like he did such a good job with that.
Yeah.
But that also might just be because I'm just hungry for some Alfred.
Yeah. Well, I'm at an 8. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I'm at probably like a 6, like a low 6. But we got Silk, and this is Emily Kim and Takesha Miyazawa on the art. And yeah, man, like I mean, I kind of already spoiled it. I liked it. Did you like it? I'm assuming so.
I did like it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you're the type of person that wants to read a Spider-Man book, but you don't want to, go every single week, this is the book for you, because it's like she's very, she's funny. She like the only thing I didn't like, and this is like honest to God, you're not supposed to. It's the writer did a good job with it, but that douchebag that she saves, that's like saying like just all of like the douchiest things that I hate, and
Yeah.
he's like, "It's lit. That's Cap," like all that stuff. It's just like, oh, that's great. And I just love seeing Jonah in this. The story itself was really cool. It's crazy that she gets sucked into paranormal stuff more than like Spider-Man. It's like, man, you think she's just like begging for like a mugger?
I know, right? But I think that's why I like it so much, though, because I'm into that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And again, a cool freaking costume. I love the costume.
I was thinking about this, so I want you to see if you agree. People are gonna figure out that she's Silk, because like there's been times where I've gone out, COVID times, mask up, and they're like, "Hey, Casey," I'm like, "How do they know it's me?"
Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, she's just, I don't know. It's like the Midwestern middle-aged white dude mask where they just got that thing that they pull up here, right? Yep. That's what she's wearing. It's just a red one of those. And that, I mean, it sure does look cool. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's like Clark wearing glasses though, right? It's stupid.
But... Yeah, but I mean, a little bit different though, because like Clark would always like, he'd be like more mousy. Like that's how he's supposed to, like how originally he's like, "Yeah, Lois, maybe we could go to dinner or sometime." She's like, "What?" It's like, "Oh, no, nothing," like that, because like that was like the great thing with like the Christopher, like I've never seen those movies all the way through like recently, like that there's that scene where like he's like, "Oh, hey Lois," and then like he had just dropped her off as Superman, and then he's like, "Lois," like he like completely changes, and it's so perfect,
right? Yeah, so, I don't know. I like this. I like the sort of mythology background that we get for the museum pieces that sort of come to life. It's like Night at the Museum, but with death.
But kind of deadly.
So I'm here for Silk and Night at the Museum.
And I'm going to
Yeah.
say this, Silk has fastly become one of my favorite female superheroes. She is super cool, super relatable, super likable. I mean, like, if you listen to this and you're like, I don't know about Silk, but I did listen to them about Jessica Cruz, so I'm gonna give this Silk a try. You'll like Silk.
For
She's
sure.
great.
This one gets a 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna go 9.5. The only reason why I didn't give a 10 is because if Silk would have let that guy die, would have been a 10. But she's a hero and she doesn't do that.
Fair enough. And I cannot believe that we kept it under our hour for all of those books.
Right? What was
Unreal.
the time at?
We had 5 minutes.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
nice. All right, man. So what books are you excited for next week? Because it's another big week.
It is. It is. I'm gonna go with Task Force Z, because that has just been good every time I've read it. I know the number. Do we have to share the one that we're both most excited for, and that's Saga?
Even though I've been more excited about it because I've been reading it longer.
Yes. Sure, you can have it. And then finally I'll say did I say Wonder Girl?
No.
Then Wonder Girl.
All right, so for me, it's gonna be Death of Doctor Strange, Action Comics, and of course Saga. I mean, it's just Saga's like my favorite comic book. I've waited like 2 years for this issue to come out. So 3 years. It's been too long. I wonder what Hazel's up to. I'm excited.
We know it's gonna end on a cliffhanger.
It's probably gonna start with tears, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so to finish up on the Fantastic Four, my sister, she gave birth to her second daughter, I think yesterday, or she came home today. But I was just thinking, if you had a kid, give me four names that you would give it that has to be superhero or a supervillain name. So you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to name it Clark. You can be like, I'm going to name it Superman.
Oh, it has to be the hero name?
Yes. We have to make this more interesting.
Well, here's one that I've heard a couple of times, and that's Flash.
Okay.
Fun fact, friend of the show, Brian Atkins, his son is nicknamed Flash, like he calls him Flash. So that one, is just sort of like normalized for me, and I could go with that. Gosh, dude, this is a doozy.
I mean, get as stupid as you want, man. It doesn't matter.
Fine, Condiment King.
There you go.
Doom, because it's kind of powerful.
There you go.
And
I'm
then
gonna go with Thor.
No, that one's too obvious.
Yeah, we also had a classmate named that.
That is true. We did. Oof. Gosh, I don't know. The last one. The Lizard. No, and I would include the.
Yeah, of course,
Lizard.
of course.
Your turn.
I'll go Robin, because I mean, there you go. That one's an easy one. And then I'll go Hercules, because that's a sweet name. And then Puck, which I could see Puck being like a real kid's name. I mean, not like a good name, but it could be a name.
He plays hockey, and that's his nickname. He scores a lot of goals.
He's short, he's he actually loves basketball.
Half Canadian.
Hates hockey. It's weird. And then the last one, I'm just gonna say, since he took one with the in it, because the's just like that'd be great. But I'm gonna go with Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter Morse.
Martian Manhunter Jacob Dilly Morse, because I'm gonna give his middle name will be your name, because we're friends like that.
Right, of course.
I just have to get the okay with the old lady for that one.
I'm sure oh yeah, she'll love it.
I'll just make sure she's still hopped up on all the the drugging medicine, you know. And then I was like, writing this down.
Oh boy, that was a zany one this week. All right. But that does bring us to the end of the episode. We made it. If you guys would go to facebook.com/2worldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. And you can also find us on YouTube. That is 2Worlds Podcast on YouTube. And please review us 5 stars wherever you're listening to this. We would really appreciate it.
And when you're listening right now on YouTube, just, I don't know, give us some better name ideas. Oh, maybe like Sasquatch. There's another one, you know, from the Alpha Flight. But yeah, just give us some more fun superhero names that you'd name your kids. See if you're a better parent than us. But we'd love to stay in chat. But you know, I gotta go fight Apollo. Adrian. Bye guys.
Bye.